The truth occurs.
Hi everyone. How would you like it if the government confiscated your hard-earned savings to bail out banksters? The people of Cyprus didn't like it, but why should you care about the Cyprus bank bailout? Well, because it's setting a new precedent and your bank account could be next. Cypriot banks are confiscating people's private savings to bail themselves out. So how can they get away with robbing people of their money? Well, they just have the government declare it as a tax. And it's a hefty tax. It's 60% of deposits over 100,000 euros. And that includes the life savings of some retirees who have no other income. So why does this concern you? Well, because it may be the way of the future. Bomb from Brussels. Cyprus model may guide future bank bailouts. It says here an increasing number of European politicians would like to see bank shareholders and investors bear a greater share of crisis risk. How about banksters bear a greater share of crisis risk? How about banksters be held accountable? No, I guess that's not going to happen. The EU government wants to make raiding people's bank accounts the new model of the future. And it's not only happening in Europe, this new model is actually coming to Canada as well. The confiscation of savings in Canada, Cyprus-Style bail-ins proposed by Ottawa government. Canada's Economic Action Plan 2013 is proposing taking money from people's savings account to prevent a bank from failing. They say this would be a way to resolve the bank failure issue by converting deposits into regulatory capital without using taxpayer funds. Well, who do you think those deposits belong to? The taxpayers? Meanwhile, the government of Cyprus, who started this whole thing, has actually had second thoughts and considered that there is no future under the Troika and called for an Iceland solution. Last week, Yanakis Omiru, Cypriot House of Representatives president, was calling for a change of plans, maybe a solution like what Iceland had done. And he said, Troika imposed responsibility will, quote, turn Cyprus into a colony of the worst possible type. And if we remain bound by the Troika and the memorandum, Cyprus's destiny is already foretold and there will be no future. What he's saying here is that there is no future under the centralized control of the banksters, which is the European Union, the European Central Bank, and the IMF. And unless you get out of their grip, you're pretty much done for. But these are globalists who are interested in wealth redistribution and having the world return to like a kind of feudal state. And, you know, they want to send all the wealth from one place to another, but make sure none of it comes out of their pockets. They would be then the overlords of all these poor peasants. But back to Iceland. Iceland was a success story. Iceland's president explains how his country recovered so quickly from the recession. The government bailed out the people and imprisoned the banksters, the opposite of what America and the rest of Europe did. Iceland had the cojones to say enough is enough. And they in fact did arrest banksters and they did bail out the people. To homeowners with negative equity, the country offered write-offs that would wipe out debt above 110% of the property value. I think they bailed out the homeowners, not the banksters. And now they're doing quite well. They're recovering and unemployment is down 50%. But now, after all, Cyprus is confiscating 60% of bank deposits over 100,000 euros and giving tax breaks to businesses and opening casinos. So what happened to Cyprus? Where are their cojones? Well, the IMF set the terms of the Cyprus bailout. Looks like Cyprus's cojones are in the iron grip of the IMF. So it was the IMF in the end who told them what to do. So let's face it, there is no future under the Troika and national sovereignty is a thing of the past. So be warned, Canadians, because banksters run the world and already the Canadian government is setting it up to do the banksters' bidding and take money out of our accounts as well. And this applies to you too, Americans. Bank bail-ins are the new bailouts. So I really wanted to alert you to this situation. And in closing, if you have any suggestions on what anyone could do to safeguard their savings, well, write it down in the comments. Some people have proposed things like, you know, buying physical gold, or maybe having your money in several different banks, so if one of them goes down, you don't lose everything. I don't know, maybe you have some suggestions. Well, leave me your comments, and thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.